Marsh, is this the woman you described in your testimony? I'll repeat the question. Is this the woman you described in your testimony just given?
Now, there's no reason to be frightened. Please answer the question. Is this the woman? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, that's her.
Order in the court. That will be all. Your Honor, the prosecution rests.
This court will be adjourned for a period of 15 minutes, at which time it will be reconvened and this case presented to the jury. Oh, Dr. Fenton, may I see you in my chambers, please?
Doctor, I want to thank you for your testimony in this case. I don't know whether we have a conviction or not, but we wouldn't have had a chance without you.
I know, John, I know. These are hard cases to prosecute. I, for one, am mighty glad it's over. I only hope we've accomplished something.
I think we have, Doctor. This case will make a lot of people stop and think.
I hope so. I sincerely hope so.
The defendant will rise. In affixing a penalty, this court hopes that it will have the desired effect, that its tragic lesson will have been driven home, so that this procedure will not have been in vain. A crime of this nature results in untold suffering, not only for those immediately concerned, but among the innocent members of their families and loved ones. It is therefore the sentence of this court that you be confined for a period of 10 years in the state prison, the maximum sentence prescribed by law. This court is now adjourned.
Well, I hope there are not many more days like this has been. There must be a better way. There must be. Yes? All right. I'll be over in 2 hours.
How did things go at the trial today, Doctor?
Well, Jane, it wasn't very pleasant. Then those things never are. When something like this happens to folks you've known for years, as well as I've known the Marsh family, well, it makes you stop and think.
I know. How'd the young Marsh girl bear up?
Oh, well, as could be expected, I suppose. But she's been through an experience she'll never forget. Nor should any of us, for that matter.
Will you be needing me for anything, Doctor?
No, Jane, not right now. Oh, I do have to go over to the City Hall in 2 hours. Will you please remind me? 2 hours. Well, that'll just about give me time to tell you about the case of Lois Marsh and how it got into court. I told part of it on the stand, together with the other witnesses. But there's so much more of it that couldn't legally be brought before a judge and jury. Immaterial, as the lawyers say. But material as life and death to the girl and to all the people it touched. It begins innocently enough, with a boy and a girl. As so many things begin that end up before one judge or another. These two youngsters I'm talking about grew up within a few blocks of where I'm sitting. Nice kids. Lois is a neighbor's daughter. If I had a daughter, I'd want her to be just like Lois Marsh. Bright, pretty, just past 17. I got my first inkling of danger on the night Lois went out on her high school graduation party with some of her friends. This is the Marsh home. Lois is an only child. She lives with her father, Arnold, a successful architect, and her mother, Clara. At this moment, she's getting ready for the party.
Now, where did I put that clasp in? Oh, here it is. Oh, come now, Arnold. Put away these old blueprints and get the card table cleared off. Dr. Fenton will be here any minute now.
I know, my dear, but I don't think the doctor will object too seriously to my interest in these plans.
That's not the point, Arnold. It's just that, well, you know how the doctor is. When he wants to play cards, he wants to play cards. Come on, dear.
Don't you worry. I'll have everything fixed and ready to go by the time he gets here.
Oh, fine. Now, what was I going to do? Oh, yes, the clasp for Lois's dress.
Well, Mom, do you think I can hold my own against all the other designing hussies? You know, this is a very important party.
I'm sure there won't be a prettier girl there, Lois, dear.
What's that for? Really, Mother, I don't think I need to wear that.
I think it looks much better. Hurry, dear. Here they are.
Well, here we are.
Thank you, Daddy.
Let me look at you. Why, you're wonderful. But what's the matter with your boyfriends? Aren't they strong enough to walk to the house anymore?
Oh, Arnold, are you going to start scolding again?
Oh, Daddy, the boys have to save themselves for the party. We're going to dance them right out of this world tonight.
Oh, I see.
There's Bob now.
Hello, Lois. How do you doing, Mr. and Mrs. Marsh?
Robert?
Hope we didn't make too much of a nuisance out there with our symphony in B flat.
Not at all. We like symphonies.
I brought a little something for Lois.
Oh.
Oh, Bob, they're lovely. Well, see you later. Don't wait up.
Have fun.
Drive carefully, you
Good
two.
night.
Good night.
We better hurry now and get this place cleaned up.
I wonder what's keeping Lois. She's always late.
I don't know. Oh, here they come.
What's so sad, Bob?
Boy, she's beautiful. Lois, words fail me.
Words may fail you, but you never forget how to whistle.
Oh, don't worry, Irene. Hal will never kid anyone with his wolf call as long as you're around.
Thanks, Sonny. That's real kind of you. Hiya, Doc.
Going someplace, Doc? Hello, Dr. Fenton.
Here, Doc. Catch.
Here comes Dr. Fenton.
Hi, Doc.
Hello, Arnold. Hello, Clara.
Hello, Doctor.
Well, how are you feeling?
Never felt better in my life. And I'm sure there's nothing wrong with Clara that a little game of gin rummy won't fix up.
Exactly the prescription I had in mind. If you put up with a bad loser, and no post-mortem.
You're the only doctor I've ever known that can take his own medicine, win, lose, or draw.
Where's your tobacco?
Oh, you forgot your pouch again. That's right here.
Yeah, thanks.
You kind of like that, don't you?
Well, it's fair. Wait a minute. I'm not going to play with any fickle husband. The evidence is all over your face, man.
Why, Arnold, you have lipstick on your cheek.
Oh.
And it's a good thing I know where it came from, too.
I'll bet I know where it came from, too. That very handsome young woman I saw driving away on some big date.
That wasn't a young woman, Doctor. That was Lois, our child. She's going to the school party at the country club.
That was no child I saw driving away. That was a grown woman. At least, she thinks she is. And you better begin to recognize her as grown up. Treat her as a woman.
Well, what do you mean, Doc? You know Lois for some time. She's not quite 18 yet.
I know she's of marriageable age.
Oh, Doctor, you make everything sound so serious. Lois won't even be thinking of marriage for years.
You weren't talking about sex education or something like that, were you, Doctor?
A better name for it is family relationship. If you'll permit an old friend the privilege of butting into your private affairs.
You're not butting in, Doctor.
You didn't do what I suggested several months ago, did you, Clara? You haven't said a word to her or put her in the way of getting proper information.
No, I haven't. She'd be shocked. Lois is very sensitive. Girls learn about these things when they're ready for them, somehow.
Somehow is right. Often on street corners.
Not our Lois.
Well, what would you suggest, Doc? You're an authority on this kind of information.
Well, it's a parental responsibility.
Yes, I know, but how can a father tell a son or a mother tell a daughter? That is, in a decent way, without, well, what I mean is, how can we tell our children these things and keep their respect before they understand the dignity of true affection? No, I think Clara's right.
Oh, Arnold, why be so concerned? Let's not talk about it anymore. Doctors are fanatic about this subject. Come on, let's start the game.
I'll admit it's a problem. There are several methods of approach if you don't want your kids to pick it up in the alley. There's a sincere difference of opinion as to where children should be taught what they're curious about in regard to matters of sex and parenthood.
Are you lecturing us, Dr. Fenton?
I'm afraid I am, Clara. As I was saying, there are controversial methods. One insists that this kind of family relationship is best taught in the public school. The other, that the proper place for it is the private clinic, through instruction to parents and adolescent children in separate groups. I myself believe in the clinic. That's why I carry on my lecture course at the hospital, as you know. And that's where you can shift some of your responsibility to me. Bring Lois to my Wednesday afternoon lecture. I'm showing moving pictures for women only.
Wednesday? Oh, I'm afraid I just can't, Doctor. I'm introducing Lois at the auxiliary that afternoon. Luncheon, you know.
I see. Well, I suppose that's important, too.
Now you're really irritated with me, aren't you? And if you insist on spoiling the rest of the evening... It isn't as if Lois were boy crazy. She confides in me absolutely. And I'll know what to do when the time comes. Listen, here's the club dance. Lois will be having fun.
Well, here we go.
Don't be gone too long, you two. And remember, Lois, I still got 2 more dancers with you.
And Bob, be very, very careful. You've got some pretty fragile baggage with you.
Okay.
A lot had gone on in the minds and hearts of these young people since they started for the party. Who knows, who remembers how much of life can be crowded into an hour of youth? They had danced there at the country club. They had laughed and kidded and flirted. They were giddy with joyous emotion. And now they needed some fresh air, as they said. A little spin to cool off out here at Lakeside. Bob and Lois, boy and girl, confident with the ripe wisdom of 19 and of 17 years, dealing with impulses as old as the uncounted centuries.
My, it is beautiful here. Let's walk down by the water.
Shall I turn off the radio?
Oh, no, please. I like it. Get some nice music.
Slide out here, Lois. You know, this is the last date you and I are going to have for some time.
I know.
It's going to just about spoil my whole summer vacation. You're going away.
But, Bob, it'll only be for a month.
Only a month? It's 30 whole days and evenings. Do you realize that, Lois?
Yes. But when you leave for school this fall, why, you'll be away almost a whole year.
Lois, I don't want you to go away. I don't want us to be apart. I think I'll build a fence around you so nobody else can ever touch you.
It's a nice fence, Bob. I don't believe I'll ever be able to get out of it. My, it is lovely out here, isn't it?
It sure is. It's a shame.
What's a shame?
Well, falling in love so young and having to wait until you're so old to get married.
Do you really think we're in love, Bob?
Oh, for Pete's sake, aren't we? If we aren't, what are we talking about? Maybe we're just kidding. Maybe you like somebody else better. Maybe I could go for somebody else while you're away for 30 days.
My, you're full of maybes tonight. Could you really go for someone else?
No, honey. Nobody else. Only you. I guess you're kind of crazy.
Yes. A little crazy. Maybe we better be getting back, Bob. They'll be wondering where we are.
Let them wonder. I don't think I could stand seeing you in anyone else's arms again tonight, darling. You're shivering. We should have brought your coat, but I didn't think...
I'm not cold.
Here, let me pull the coat up right here.
Did you get lost?
You know you owed me another dance, Lois.
Would you please get my coat, Bob? What are you so quiet about?
We're engaged, Irene.
Oh, that's wonderful, honey.
Oh, Bob's a swell boy. But don't say a word to anyone yet. We'll have to wait such a long time. And I couldn't tell my dad and mother. Not right away.
Sure. Not a peep out of me. I didn't you and Bob had made that much progress.
Hiya, kids. Hello. There's the dance, huh?
Yeah, right.
And now you're hungry. What you gonna have?
What are we gonna have? What a come on that is, Kitty Mae. You know you've fed us the same thing for the past 4 years. Heat 'em up and pass the mustard.
And make it double for me, Kitty.
Me too.
Boy, I dance so hard I'm fanning.
And I can eat a raft of those. And mustard.
Oh, what makes you so quiet tonight, Lois? In love or something?
Yes, I guess so.
Well, there's nothing like a couple of these puppies with plenty of mustard to fix up most anything that's wrong with you.
Hey, wait a minute. What do you mean, fix up? We're content with things as they are.
Okay, Bob.
And hurry it up. We've got to get these young things home. Those are the rules, remember?
Oh, you in danger too, Hal? Always thought you were woman-proof.
Why, kidding me? You wronged me. But in the right way, I'll have to admit.
You look beautiful, Lois.
Hey, they smell good, don't they?
Thought you were going away, Bob.
I am. As soon as the school term starts, up to North State.
This is probably the most important letter Lois ever will write in her life. It is, of course, only for Bob's eyes. I feel very guilty reading it over her shoulder, as it were. But we've got to know about it, because a lot of people besides Lois and Bob are involved. This is what she's saying to the boy she loves, who had gone away to college 200 miles upstate. Dearest Bob, she writes, it hardly seems possible that you've been away more than a month, and yet the days seem to drag so terribly slow. I miss you so, darling, and I just don't care to go anywhere now without you. And besides, being so lonely, I'm beginning to get worried and scared. Nothing has happened that should happen. I don't want to worry you, Bob, now that you're concentrating so hard on your studies. But I just don't know what I'd do if what I'm afraid of should be true. What could we do? I drove out to our place yesterday. How wonderful. Almost sacred, it seemed to me. And yet it made me sad, too. You not being here with me. I feel so grown up now, she writes. Not like a girl anymore. Sometimes I feel very, very old. Seems strange to write those things. If you were here and I could just be near you, I'd feel safe again and not worry about anything. Bob, she writes, I do love you so. And precious, do take care of yourself. And write me lots of your beautiful letters to cheer me up. And to make the days go a little faster toward the time when we won't have to wait anymore. When we can be together always and truly belong to each other. With all my heart.
We're about to go now, Lois. And please don't stay up too late tonight. Oh, dear. I told them at the costumers to take this waist in a little more. How's it look to you, Arnold? Do you think it's effective?
I can assure you, my dear, that you look positively ravishing. In fact, you look as attractive in your costume as I feel silly in mine.
Oh, I do hope everyone will like it.
Well, it's beyond me why we can't have just a dinner dance at the country club instead of all this silly fiddle.
Oh, stop it, Arnold. You'll have just as good a time as I will. Probably better.
Mother.
Hello, dear. How do I look? Good heavens, Arnold. It's after 8 o'clock already. The Davises will be waiting for us to pick them up.
Mother, I wanted to ask you something, to tell you something.
What about, dear? Arnold, what do you think of a hat?
Mother, I wanted to speak to you privately.
Privately? Why are you so mysterious? Surely, Lois, you can speak in front of your father.
Mother, it's rather important.
Can't you tell me quickly, dear, on the way to the car? Come along, Arnold.
No, Mother. It might take quite a little while, and you're in such a hurry.
We can't keep the Davises waiting. They'll be furious.
All right. You run along, Mother. We shouldn't keep the Davises waiting.
All right, dear. You tell me later, then, when we come home from the country club, if you're still awake. Good night, darling.
Night, Mother.
Good night, dear.
Night.
And so the moment was lost in the rush of other demands. The moment when a scared girl might have confided in her mother and trusted to her parents' mercy. Time now to take her trouble and her worries to people who will not be hurt by what Lois has to confess, and from whom she may need counsel. But where, and counsel from whom? The street corner will not be of much help now. the street corner, which is always so wise and smug and full of leering smartness.
Lois, if you're not busy, I'm coming in.
Hello, Irene.
Hello.
Am I glad to see you? I feel so lonely.
I know, honey. You miss Bob, don't you? Being engaged and so far apart. I don't believe I could stand it if it was Hal.
Let's go into my room.
Irene, I'd like to ask you something, but you probably wouldn't know. Honey, I know everything. Try me out. How do you go about getting, married? That's simple. It is? Well, sure. The first thing, and the hardest thing to do, is to find yourself a man, especially one that can support you.
That isn't such a problem.
Oh, it isn't, huh? Do you know that there are girls in this very town going on 23 and 24, and nobody's even asked them yet? Yes, I know, but that isn't what I mean. I mean, supposing you already have the man and he's willing. Then, honey, you've no problems at all. But how do you actually go about getting married? Well, that's easy. You just... Say, you're not thinking of getting married, are you? At least not yet. Oh, Lois, you wouldn't. Or would you?
No,
You're not planning on running away or eloping?
I was just wondering. I thought maybe you might know about licenses and things.
Of course. I know all about them. Didn't my very own sister Louise get married less than a year ago? I remember everything that she had to do.
Tell me about it, Irene.
Well, first you both have to go to the courthouse and get a marriage license. And then you both go and get a blood test, and then a blood test? What for? Gosh, I don't know. I guess they just want to make sure you've got some. Go on, Irene. What else? Well, in this state, you have to wait 3 days, I think, before you can actually be married. After that, you can be married by a judge or a justice of the peace.
In some other town?
Well, I think so.
Is that all there is to it?
That's all. Oh, golly, I just thought of something. In order to get a marriage license, you have to be 18. Or have your parents' consent.
Parents' consent?
Golly, I'd almost forgotten that item. But, of course, you could probably pass for 18. But no, that wouldn't work either. You have to show them your birth certificate. You're just not old enough, honey. Unless you get your folks' consent. You're going to ask them? They like Bob, don't they?
Why, I know they wouldn't let me. Not for a long time. They think I'm still a baby.
Irene, do me a big favor.
Sure. I want you to take care of this for me.
Mel, this will go out in the train tonight. I'll do it right away. I have to leave anyway. It's almost 9 o'clock. Bye.
Bye.
You can both say what you like, but I know you had a better time tonight than you've had in ages.
Maybe so, Clara.
But as your family physician, I feel it my duty to warn you that if you don't get Arnold out of that ridiculous rig very shortly, he's apt to acquire a terrible complex of the kind.
You're closer to the truth than you think, Art.
Nonsense. I'll be going to another masquerade tomorrow night.
Oh, what? Heaven forbid.
Arnold, will you put some water on for tea?
It's an idea.
Doctor, you'll stay and have a cup of tea, of course.
Well, if I'm pressed, yes. I was in hopes of seeing that lovely daughter of yours. Haven't seen her around lately. A cup of tea would be a poor substitute.
Just a minute. She might still be awake. Sorry, Doctor. She's sound asleep. You'll have to settle for that cup of tea. Sit yourself down and rest while I get things ready. Arnold already has the water heating.
No. If I were to sit down in that comfortable chair, you'd have me here for the night. Now, you go ahead. I'll just stand here and supervise the operation.
All right, Doctor.
You know, Clara, when I look at the young lady in that photograph, I can't help thinking how fast the years are slipping by. You and Arnold are very fortunate to have a lovely daughter like Lois.
She puzzled me a little today. Got very mysterious about telling me something.
Well, maybe it was important, Clara. Perhaps you should have discussed it with her.
Oh, stop worrying, Arnold. It could have been very serious, or she wouldn't be sleeping so peacefully. You know how children are with their problems. Everything seems so terribly serious.
Yeah, I'll see you sit down with you there.
They were a little puzzled, Mrs. Marsh said, a little mystified by some unspoken need of their daughter that day. And now they thought she was asleep. And so we could drink our tea in peace and comfort this beautiful evening. By so narrow a margin do we sometimes miss the timely word, the offered confidence. Mrs. Marsh hadn't had time. She'd be late for dinner. But of course, she didn't know either. I think it was at this moment that I began to accuse myself too, as I reflected upon it. Although I knew nothing of the actual situation at that time, I should have stepped in when I saw that the Marshes didn't have the nerve to talk to Lois.
Daydreaming, Doctor? You haven't said a word for 5 minutes or more.
It's a good thing you didn't hear what I was thinking.
About those attractive girls at the dance tonight, I bet. Some of them were very pretty, weren't they?
All girls are pretty, Clara. Every blessed one of them.
Meaning Lois, of course.
Yes, and I'll include her mother, too.
Still passing out the old compliments, eh, Doc? Well, you better be careful because I'm a jealous man.
Well, then I better be going. I had a lovely evening. Tell Lois I missed seeing her very much. Excuse me for harping on a subject like a fanatic, but may I suggest once more that you bring Lois to my lecture? Or, with your permission, have her see me at the clinic?
All right, Doctor.
Good night.
Good night, Doctor. Don't worry about the costume. I'll take care of it.
The little clock in Lois's room had ticked its busy way through several more weeks, but its chimes were no longer sweet in her ears. Now they sounded a frantic moment and drove the girl out to a desperate call.
I'd like to speak to Robert Mason at the State Hotel in Capital City. Yes, person to person. Yes, I'll be right here at the booth. Oh, I'll wait no matter how long it takes. And please, operator, no other person can hear us while we talk, can they? Thank you. The booth number? It's 2240.
Yes, this is Bob Mason. Yes, Lois. Yes, darling. I can hear you very clearly. What's the matter? You sound as if you're crying.
As we could hear them clearly, too, both of them, if we could bear to intrude on their deepest privacy. But the words would seem very awkward to us, very inadequate, and some of us might even giggle with embarrassment. For what Lois and Bob must say to each other across a brassy telephone wire, several hundred miles apart. Person-to-person call, what distress and fear and promises and comfort, if any, were spoken in these few minutes in the effort to adjust affections gone astray. Well, it had all to be said, and they said it as best they could out of their abiding and genuine love.
Don't worry, honey. I'll come right down. We'll get married right away somehow. Meet you at our corner in about 4 hours. Don't cry, honey, please. And, well, I'll tell you how much I love you when I see you. Goodbye.
You since the graduation party. You been away for the summer?
No, I've been around. Home mostly. Maybe going away soon, though.
Oh, how wonderful. Girls seem to be getting younger and younger all the time.
Yes, I noticed.
You look a little shaky, kid. Anything wrong? With you and Bob, maybe?
Not at all, Kitty. I'm just happy and excited. And I've just got to tell somebody. He's coming home today. Bob. Going to meet me right here in an hour. Isn't that wonderful?
I thought you two kids were really in love the night of the big party. Lois, are you going to...
Yes, we're going to get married right away. We'll have to sneak away, but it'll turn out all right. And after everything's straightened out and we're forgiven and all, why, then I can go up to Capital City and be with him. And he can keep right on going to college.
Wait a minute, kid. You mean you aren't telling your mom and pop? You're really lambing out to get married on the QT?
That's the sad part about it, Kitty. The way my dad and mother will feel about it. Not seeing me get married and maybe thinking badly of me. I feel terrible about that part of it. But we do love each other so, Bob and I, and we can't wait. I mean, we want to. Oh, I've been such a silly fool, kid.
Don't worry. None of us know very much, no matter how old we get. Let me take care of these kids. You listen to the radio.
And now we bring you the 4 o'clock edition of the news, reported by Wendell Niles.
Good afternoon. This is Wendell Niles with a roundup of the late local world news. First, taking a look at the local scene, the City Council has placed its stamp of approval on the proposed increase in wages for school teachers in the city. The council's action followed a plea by the school board chairman, Paul Carter, who stressed the need of an adequate living wage for members of the teaching profession. One moment, I've just been handed a bulletin. Robert Mason, nephew of State Senator Joseph Mason of Fairhaven, was instantly killed a few minutes ago when his car went out of control and crashed into a tree near a bridge crossing. Mason, 19, and a freshman at State College, was alone in his car at the time. Witnesses stated to the Highway Patrol that the car driven by Mason was traveling at a high rate of speed when the accident occurred. Senator Mason has been notified. Young Mason had no other close living relatives so far as we know.
Kitty, did you hear? It's Bob. And he was going to meet me here in a few minutes. And now, I'm not going to get married or anything.
Lois, be quiet. Get hold of yourself.
No. No.
Listen to me, Lois. I know it's a terrible time to ask you, kid, but are you in trouble? His baby? Yes. Oh.
What's the matter?
What happened? Can we go?
Run along, kid. She'll be all right.
Take it easy now, kid. You're going to be all right. I'm going to send you home. Home? Yes, home, honey. And you just tell your mom that, well, you're so fond of Bob, and that's why you feel so terribly about the accident. Nothing else right now. Do you understand? Oh, Mike. Mike will take care of you. Don't worry about a thing. Just remember what I told you. I want you to take this girl home, Mike. The White House on Elm Street. You know the one, the Marshes, just off 12th.
I know. I'll take care of her.
Lois. Well, I'm sure glad to see you. Are you all right?
In one way, I am. I managed to get by at home without having to tell anything except that Bob and I were engaged. But this other... That's why I've come to you, Kitty. You've got to help me. I don't know what to do or what's going to become of me.
Well, I sure wish I could help you, kid, but...
Oh, you've just got to help me, Kitty.
So you want to get me into trouble, too. Now you come to me for advice, after everybody else has let you down. Good old Kitty Mae. She'll get you out of the jam. Well, I won't do it. I won't do it, not even for you. You dizzy little dames with your hot hearts and your chill brains. You deserve what you get.
But, Kitty,
I gotta think.
And so Lois Marsh comes at last to the deferred payoff in the midst of her tragic dilemma. On the street corner where she had absorbed so much half-knowledge and misinformation during her 17 years. Listening now to secret and reluctant advice from one who thinks she knows all the answers. From Kitty Mae, a valiant friend who knows where to go and what to do in almost any situation. Who knows the lowdown, the inside, the dope, when it comes to the payoff on untimely affection.
How about money?
I haven't any.
Good luck, kid.
Who sent you?
Kitty Mae.
sure you want to go through with this? You women from over on the other side of town don't come here until everything else has failed. Have you got the money? You got any folks in town? You got a friend to go to after you leave here? Nobody waiting for you outside? All right. You can get ready over there.
And so, in furtiveness and secrecy, the criminal operation is accomplished. Fear and ignorance have combined to add another victim to the ever-mounting toll. Another human life has been destroyed by one of the most malignant practices of a civilized society, abortion. But not without punishment for those either directly or indirectly responsible. A debt has been incurred that must be paid in terms of pain and suffering.
I can't keep you here any longer. You've been sleeping over an hour.
No, not sleeping.
Now, pull yourself together. You've got to go now. You can go to your friend or your family.
No, not my family. Do you want me to come back and see you?
No, just stay in bed for a couple of days, and you'll be all right. Now compose yourself. You'll be all right as soon as you get out in the fresh air.
But where can I go? Not home. I can't go home like this.
That's your worry. You've got to figure that out for yourself. But remember this. Keep your mouth shut. If you don't watch your step, you and me will both be in trouble. Understand? Now go ahead.
I didn't hit her. She just fell.
I know that. I saw her come out into the street. Do you know her? Where are you taking her?
No, I don't know her. Looks like she needs a doctor.
Lady, who are you? What's your name? Where do you live?
Dr. Fenton. James Fenton. Lives up in Elm Street.
Doc Fenton. I know where his office is. Elm and 21st Street. Can you take her there?
Yeah, sure.
I'll go with you. This girl's liable to pass out on you.
But would you get my hat?
We got a sick girl here. Don't know what's the matter with her, but she gave us your name.
Lois Marsh. Bring her right in.
Thanks, mister. We'll take her from here.
Put her in the chair, please. Lois, can you hear me? Have you had an accident? What's happened?
We found her staggering out of a house into the street over on the west side.
This girl is in shock. She's lost blood. See if you can get her home on the phone. Central 0425.
No, Doc. Not my home.
Never mind the phone. Nurse. Jane.
Yes, Doctor.
Bring in the wheelchair.
Coming, Doctor.
Now, Lois, you've got to tell us what happened so that we can help you. Don't be afraid.
Am I gonna die, Doc?
No, of course not. If you'll only tell us.
I've got to keep my mouth shut. I'll get everybody in trouble.
I guess I've got to call your mother.
Wait. Let me think. I'll tell you.
There, Lois. Take it easy. We'll take care of you. Nothing to fear. The nurse will fix you up.
You won't leave me, Doc.
I'll be right with you. Very kind of you to act so quickly and take care of her so well.
There's something troubling that girl, more than meets the eye. I hope the young lady pulls through all right. My name's Brennan. I live at 120 Wilson Street. If you should need me, call me.
Thanks. Give me a receiving, please. This is Dr. Fenton. Yes, this is Fenton. Can you have an operating room ready in half an hour? Transfusion, oxygen, emergency. Yes. And a special nurse day and night. Good. We'll be ready to leave in 20 minutes. Yes. Fine. Thanks. Yes. A young woman. And a private room by all means. Good. Goodbye. She's still a pretty sick girl, but she'll be all right for the night.
The special will be here in a few minutes.
I'll be in the auditorium after 8, my usual Wednesday night lecture, if you should need me.
What about the parents, Mr. and Mrs. Marsh, Doctor? They're in the consultation room now.
They're not to go in the room under any circumstances until I get permission. She's resting quietly now, but you can't go in the room yet.
But what happened, Doc? We didn't even know she was here.
She wasn't even sick, and all at once this. I've got to see her, my baby.
There, Clara. It's you I'm worrying about now, not Lois. You and Arnold. You have another shock coming, and you might as well have it now. Sit down, please. So their guilty negligence as parents came to haunt them through a dreadful night of waiting and hoping, while Lois battled for her life and did not much care whether she won it or not. Of course, I had to tell them everything. You cannot keep these things secret. I gave it to them straight and hard, the things they had to know about the daughter they had thought so innocent. The things this boy and girl had blundered into for lack of defensive information and the lack of discipline which goes with ignorance. It may have been a frightful thing for me to do, to shock them so, while their daughter had a bare chance to survive the results of a criminal operation. But it seemed to me at that moment as if all the astonished parents of so-called wayward girls were sitting here with Arnold and Clara Marsh in this hospital waiting room, feeling disgraced. And for the moment, heaven help me, I had no mercy for them. I reminded them that Lois had been more concerned about them, not to bring shame upon them, than about herself in her terrible dilemma, when in a frantic moment she elected to risk her life. And when you go into her, I told them finally, let her know that you need her forgiveness just as much or more than she needs yours. That more than anything, I told them, may make her want to live. I knew they would wait here the night through, even though they were forbidden to see Lois. I won't be far away if you need me. I'm a little late, and I may be called out again before our clinical demonstration has been completed. Something very important and very critical. But nothing is more important than the information, the timely information, that the motion picture we are to view will bring to you people in this auditorium tonight. I'm glad to see so many of you here, and I want to compliment you, fathers and mothers, on your deep sense of family responsibility and your courage. It takes peculiar courage to overcome an understandable reluctance in discussing these basic matters of living with your adolescent children. And it takes a lot of good common family sense. That's why I conduct these regular weekly clinics and carry through a comprehensive study on what is generally, but too narrowly, referred to as sex education. I prefer with decent regard for the proprieties and the morals and the protection of civilized humanity. Pictures, I believe, are better than words in making this kind of information clear for everyone. The reel that you will see tonight is part of a series covering the whole subject of our clinical program, which many of you here tonight have followed. It shows the birth of a baby. Lights, please. Here in diagram form are shown the female organs of reproduction. An ovum, or egg, is released by one of the ovaries approximately every 28 days. The ovaries alternating with one another in the performance of this function. Adjoining the ovaries are the finger-like tips of the fallopian tubes, which engage the released ovum and start it on its journey to either fertilization or expulsion. At the cervix of the uterus, the male sperm cell is shown entering and journeying on to meet and fertilize the ovum. Although but one sperm cell is shown, actually it is accompanied by millions of others to ensure that this tiny maternal egg cannot escape. Propelled by its spiral-like tail, the sperm cell finally reaches the fallopian tube, where it unites with and fertilizes the waiting ovum. After the union or fertilization of the ovum by the sperm cell, it continues onward from the fallopian tube into the uterus, where it comes to rest on the uterine wall, which by now has been prepared to receive the fertilized ovum. The single cell, which was the ovum, now begins its process of self-division, one cell becoming two, two becoming four, and so on. Continuing to grow in the various stages of embryonic development, the fetus is shown here at the end of 1 month. By the 6th month, the child has reached a length of from 10 to 14 inches and an approximate weight of 1 1/4 pounds. The body is well proportioned but lean, and the eyelids are separated. At the end of the 9th month, the child has increased in weight to 7 pounds or more and measures from 18 to 20 inches in length. It has now moved into a position to become engaged in the birth canal, and we see the ultimate and crowning glory of womanhood, the miracle of birth. These clinical conferences have never seemed as important to me as they do this very night. I've gone through an experience today as a physician that has emphasized again how vitally necessary it is for all young people and a great many uninformed adults to learn about the processes of life in a decent, reliable way, instead of the whispered legends of the street corner and the alley. Love may be the most beautiful or the most dangerous thing in the world, but it is never a thing to be giggled about or fouled with dirty stories. Childbirth is a sacred thing. Denial of it, abortion, is murder. Venereal disease. Yes, I know. That's a shocking word. But maybe our fear of words has kept us so backward in bringing the entire matter of physical relations out in the open, where they can be decently examined and proper safeguards established. I know, too, that this is a subject involved with morals and social behavior. But unfortunately, it has to be dealt with, not blindly avoided. As I have said before, ignorance and evasion are responsible for so many troubles of the groping human race. I believe that a clinic like this is the proper place to deal with these very, very important matters. Wherever else these things can be discussed legitimately and instruction carried on is a controversial matter, but it's going to have to be done.
Calling Dr. Fenton immediately, second floor.
Pardon me. You're going to be all right, Lois. I've told your mother and father, so you don't have to be afraid anymore.
Lois, darling, Daddy and I are going to stay right here with you.
I'm sure she'll be all right, Arnold, if you're very gentle and careful with her for the next few weeks. And I'll tell you, she had a pretty close call.
I understand. Thanks, Doc.
I wonder. I really wonder. It's probably starting all over again, somewhere else.
What have you been doing, Doctor? Talking to yourself?
I hope not. I was just thinking of that Marsh girl's case. All the trouble and all the punishment. Such waste and suffering because of ignorance.
Well, compose yourself. It's all over with.
Over with? These things are never over with. Think of the punishment. The conviction of that abortionist. That malpractitioner. Just and proper, of course. The most horrible crime. And there was the boy. Poor kid. Dying on his way, trying to make amends. And the girl's parents, the Marshes, most bitterly repaid for all their negligence. And Lois herself, forgiven and forgiving, yes, but having to suffer some of the consequences of her panic all the rest of her life.
But, Doctor...
Yes, I know the girl must be punished. Heaven help us. If she wasn't, the social order would break down. Everyone admits that. But we should give our young men and young women, our boys and girls, some basis for sex discipline if we're going to condemn them for their mistakes.
You'll miss your appointment if you don't hurry.
Yes, yes. There's always another appointment. I wonder if I have been talking to myself all my life.